The second explanation comes from the West itself. You see, the world before 1919 was described as a bipolar world. It was divided into two. You had the Americans on the one hand competing and trying to market democracy. They had the USSR on the other hand competing and marketing its own model of democracy, which was one-party state. Now, when the USSR disappeared, when it vanished from the face of the earth as a political entity, what was left was now the Western model. America and the West was now the hegemons. They were now the leading powers in the world. The USSR had disappeared, and in its place was Russia. The company units of Russia evolved into independent states. But what is of interest in this discussion is multipartism. Because the West had no competitor, the West imposed multipartism on African states. The IMF and World Bank made it a condition that for money, for aid to be given to African countries, they must adopt a multi-party system. In Cameroon, it's true that the SDF was at the forefront, but the SDF was acting in line with international dynamics. It's not as if the SDF was a political party or a political grouping that had innovative ideas about multi-party.
So it was not a wave of political change and consciousness that was happening.
But external factors. Yes, this external factor combined with domestic dynamism. Because without the SDF and without Cameroonians taking into their hands to fight with multipartism, it wouldn't have happened. We agree that there was an external factor, but we should also emphasize the point that Africans took their destiny into their hands and fought for the reintroduction of multipartism. I'm using the word reintroduction because multipartism existed at the eve and the aftermath of independence, but it was killed. So it was reintroduced again at a historical period in African history.
Yes.
And of course, the issue of the reawakening is that once multipartism was introduced, there was this excitement, the political ground was a bit level, the media was free. In Cameroon, the media used to be controlled, the private papers were extremely controlled, and if they published what the government did not like, it was blotted out. But under the multi-party climate, it was different. There were many more newspapers, and in Cameroon, we had more political parties. We have more than 20 newspapers of an equal strength. All of that resulted into a new political reawakening, people expressing themselves and so on.